Welcome to Tobacco.com. Call me StogieShane. I'll be your personal host on this exciting new trip. Tobacco.com is unlike any other cigar store online. The difference is that we're made up of a network of cigar brick-and-mortar merchants just like the one I'm standing in. This happens to be my local home store here in Florida, where I do business with on a daily basis. I love my local tobacconists, and I greatly value more than anything the friends and the camaraderie that occurs right here in this shop. Most of my day job business contacts came from right here in this store, and I've bought a ton of things from people in this cigar shop. So I hate to think that these shops are going out of business, but that's the reality. Truth is, people happen into their local tobacconist and listen to the recommendations of those shop owners and pick their top favorite cigars. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 different shops, and sometimes it's over the course of a number of years, but the truth is you probably got your favorite few sticks from the referrals of a tobacconist. The new trend, though, is to go home and order the bulk of the cigars for your humidor from an online discounter. I understand that the discounts are steep. In some cases it's 50%, but that's because your local tobacconist has got to store a box of cigars for a month or 2 before he can move every one of them. Meanwhile, overhead adds to the price of each and every one of those sticks. So now you can purchase those same sticks from a local guy and get them shipped to you from their walk-in. It's a great concept. From time to time, I'll feature a cigar on Tobacco.com and put up a video review of that cigar. You can buy that cigar through my video review link from a local merchant, just like this one or the one down the street from you. Today I'm not going to review a cigar. Since the website's starting from the ground up, so does our relationship. So I'll do a little bit of a Cigar 101 and describe a little bit of cigar history and construction and proper ways to store, light, cut some cigars, and cigar etiquette as well. The history of cigars actually begins about 7,000 years ago with the Mayan civilization. They're the first, after all, that began experimenting with tobacco. I'm not a history major, so I'll skip all of that altogether up until the most important, or at least recently the most important, change in the cigar industry. When the embargo was signed in 1962, it was a result of the nationalization that occurred there in the economy. The government seized control of all of the land and all of the crops held by the cigar industry. They offered the patriarchs and matriarchs places to work within their own companies, but working for the government. Now the profits were no longer theirs, and the working conditions were deplorable. So some of the families, with great pride, gathered some seeds and they fled the country. The most notable are the Menendez, the Palacio, and the Cifuentes families. They fled to places like Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, even Mexico, and set up shop there. And they found places with a better political environment to do business. So they started from the ground up and they rebuilt their companies. That's why today you find 2 different Romeo and Juliets. That's why you find 2 different Cohibas, 2 different Bolivars, etc., etc. One is owned by the Cuban government, and it's just a derivative of the family's original heritage. The other is the family's original heritage that relocated and went somewhere else. The reality is that every cigar in Cuba has to be sold as quickly as possible to maintain the country's economy. It's not a privately owned label where they're allowed to sit on their tobacco and age it for a year or 2. In Cuba, the cigars are rolled very quickly and sold very quickly, as the income is necessary to maintain the economy. A privately owned company elsewhere in the world can sit on the tobacco and age it as long as necessary to allow it to mature. They also have the political latitude to gather crop from different regions of the world and blend a cigar.